Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say, Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rechaha Kodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth and rule well. And Shalom to the hopeful elect, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rechaha Kodash, Barakatham. It's the brother Kazah, coming back at it again with another lesson. And the title of this lesson is going to be Back to the Basics, the Falling Away. All right, and like the title says, it's going to be concerning what is known as the following away, which is referenced here in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. It's like chapter 2, verse 3. All right, where it reads, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first." All right, now we're going to go into, what that falling away means. It basically means, in the time of our history as a nation, okay, that we lost our identity, all right, and we're just now, coming back into remembrance of our true nationality, which really, it starts with the elect. It's right now, here in Babylon, all right, it's exclusive, to the elect, the 1/3 remnant that's gonna wake up and hear, according to, Isaiah chapter 1 and 9, the 2/3. All right, the those of our people, the wicked of our people that Yahweh Shemel Shai has, basically, predestined, to not receive this truth, is not going to receive this truth. All right, and only the elect is going to, receive this truth. Okay, but that's going into another topic. You know what I'm saying? That might be covered next through the Spirit. All right, but we're going to talk about the falling away. Okay, now the falling away, it represents, the period of time, when we lost our true nationality. We forgot who we were as a people, and that's a result from, the captivities. All right, our people conforming unto the way of the Gentiles, and ultimately, being scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and, generation after generation, we forgot ourselves, So we're going to go into that. All right, we're going to touch one of the key scriptures, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. All right, and actually, let me see. All right, matter of fact, I'm going to start from the top, okay, just to get the context in, because ultimately this is a judgment, all right, and it is also, mentioned in the curses. The curses also, talk about this. So Jeremiah chapter 17 and 1, and it reads, "The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their heart, and upon the horns of your altars." All right, so the sin of Judah, the transgressions of our people, okay, which Judah, represents the southern kingdom, all right, but also too, you got the Latin tribes, that also forgot, who they were as a people, all right, because what Esau did was, he came and, he waged nothing but genocide, and he kept our people, marginalized, in society, no education, no nothing, man, Judah, Ephraim, you know what I'm saying, in the same state, if you will, all right, that's why, he had, they was killing Jakes for picking up books and reading, man, so that's basically, what contributed to us being, destroyed and losing our nationality. Okay, so anyways, it says, "It is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altars, whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. O my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil." All right, and that goes into how we lost everything we had. Okay, that goes into how we lost everything we had, man. All right, everything, on down to our nationality. Okay, all our lands, back in the homeland, in Israel, we lost that when we were driven out, of our homeland in 70 AD. When the Romans came down, with the vengeance, man. They came down with wrath, and they destroyed Jerusalem. They destroyed a lot of things, and you had then what was called the diaspora, all right, and our people fled by the millions, and we were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. All right, we were scattered. That's when majority of the southern kingdom, which is Judah, went down to the west coast of Africa. And I imagine you have some that went to the Far East, Asia. That's why you had certain references in so-called Asian history of there being so-called black people on the scene, so-called black people in Asia, whether it be China or Japan. And Jake knows more history. You got brothers out there that that's more well versed on that than myself. I only bring up the history of the so-called black shogun. I forgot his name. His name keeps on escaping me, but we were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. All right, and generation after generation being among these heathens, conforming unto their ways. All right, and ultimately going off into their idolatry. We forgot our nationality. We forgot who we were. Okay, and those of us that did know who we were, all right, guess what? In the time of our captivity here in Babylon, that it was beat out of us. All right, that's why you have the case, the famous case with Kunta Kinte. All right, how he had his name, and his name represented royalty. His name was carried weight, and these devils, man, they just tied him up to a post, and what did they do? They just whipped him until he called his until he forsook that name and accepted his new name, which was Toby. Just wickedness that these devils did, but all in all, it was judgment from on high. All right, so it reads the high places for sin throughout all thy borders, and this is a key point right here. All right, and thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. Okay, and that's what what basically transpired. We discontinued from our heritage, and part of that discontinuation of our heritage is to forget who we are as a people. All right, and the reason thou shalt, that even thyself shall discontinue from the heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger. All right, so that's what basically happened. All right, it says which shall burn forever. Okay, and we had to, we had to endure that. We had to go into that captivity. You know what I'm saying? Through our various, reincarnations, we had to do that. All right. Different brothers, you know what I'm saying? Different tribes, the judgments that we were subject unto, being under the curses, and now here we are in Babylon. We coming back to our heritage, it's going back to a full circle. All right. Because, we went off. All right. We suffered a judgment. Okay, and now we're coming back to our heritage, and we're going to be in a better state than we were. All right, because this go around, Lord willing, we're of the elect. All right, Scripture says the corruptible shall receive the incorruptible. That meaning that we're gonna go, and get into it's like we're gonna be, our spirits are gonna be transferred unto new bodies. And these bodies are not going to, be subject unto sin. These are gonna be angelic bodies. All right, as the angels, but we're going to have the ability to reproduce and taste and eat, what I'm saying? Things of that nature. So we'll still be able to enjoy the luxuries of the flesh, but we will not be subject unto the wickedness of the flesh. All right. So, that's, going to another topic as well, but hey, what I'm saying? Through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, it's on me to, do these lessons, go into the basics. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, going into the basics is an important thing, to keep you rooted and to keep you, well versed. All right, so let's go into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and the curses on how, basically we were scattered and being scattered. We basically, forget who we were and worship, these different idols. And in doing so, guess what? We forget who we were. All right. So let me see the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. And it reads, and Yahweh Shem Shai shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other. All right. So we were scattered among all people, all nations. And being around these nations, all right, you had Jakes that conformed unto the ways of these nations. Okay, that they gave up their own nationality, and they put upon themselves these different nationalities. All right, these different citizenships and whatnot. You know, so it reads, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, even wood and stone. All right, and this is why, you know what I'm saying, people put on that, you know, confusion, you know, to try to say, oh, you know, this is a religion, is deeper than a religion. You know, coming back, you know, when we say it's a nationality, it's also deeper than a nationality, because being acknowledging yourself to be an Israelite, you have to know, you know, which the name that, you know, Israel bears, you know, he is a prince of the power, meaning he's a child of the Most High. That means that you have to worship Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, that comes with the territory of having to worship and serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, our Heavenly Father. Okay, so when we went off into these different nations and we were scattered, that's a much better way to put it. When we were scattered amongst all these different nations from one end of the earth even unto the other, all right, where it says, and there thou shalt serve other gods, in essence, or sorry, not in essence, in effect, you know, we lost who we were as a people. You know, we lost who we were as a people. That's why, you know, we started serving other gods, man. Right? That's why, hey, man, we came out the womb. We didn't come out the womb saying shalom, and you know what I'm saying? No, man. You know, which, hey, you know, a baby comes out the womb, you know, they speak, you know, a form of Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Because they straight out the spiritual world. You know, but we didn't come out the womb knowing who we were, man. All right, when we growing up, you know, they didn't tell us who we were. All right, they pushed Caesar Borgia in our faces, man. Okay, I still remember, you know, there's a picture of me, you know, my mom took. You know what I'm saying? I'm, you know, right next to a Caesar Borgia statue, man, a giant Caesar Borgia statue when I was a kid. You know, and I'm not making this about me. You know, it's just an example. You know what I'm saying? That's what, you know, that's what we grew up in, and that's the example of this curse. You know, because hey, Jake, you know, grew up with that plantation Christianity, whatever, you know, denomination, you know, with whether it be Seventh-day Adventist, Luther, whatever, you know, evangelical, you know, whatever Christianity, you know, the tribes grew up in. You know, you got Catholicism, you know, with all the saints and stuff like that. That's very heavy among the northern tribes. You know what I mean? So, hey, man, you know, we was lost out here. All right. And this was happening for generations unto generations. All right. Because Jake would conform to the ways of the heathen. Okay. And to prove that, we're going to go into the book of First Maccabees. All right. I'm going to go to the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1. All right. And let me see. Okay. So First Maccabees chapter 1 and 11. All right. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. All right. Now, in this time, we were under the Seleucid Empire. Okay. This is after, you know, Alexander, you know, the Great, you know, after he had passed away, you know, he went and he, you know, of course, he conquered Israel. You know, he conquered Israel. And then after his demise, after he passed away, you know, it was the four generals that ruled over, you know, basically took a chunk out of his empire, you know, and split it into four. You know, the successor kingdoms is what it was referred to. All right. And the kingdom that we were under was the Seleucid kingdom under Antiochus Epiphanes. OK, so they were the culture. You know, the predominant culture of this kingdom was Greek. All right, was Greek. And ultimately you had our people that would conform and what's it called? You know, basically so I could take upon their cleave upon their culture. All right, and their ways. Okay, and forget, you know, the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, and we're gonna read about this. All right, so it reads, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we have departed with them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then there were certain of the people, so like then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. All right, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the custom of the heathen. Now, that doesn't mean going to going to work out, is wicked. Again, Scripture says bodily exercise profiteth little. It's good to be in shape. It's good to be healthy. All right, but you got to understand it's more important to be spiritually in shape, man. You know what I'm saying? It is more important to build upon yourself spiritually, and improve your connection with Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, but when it says, a place of exercise at Jerusalem, all right, and it says, according to the customs of the heathens, what they built there was a gymnasium, all right, which, it stands, for gym, short for gym. All right, but the reason why it was according to the heathen was because people would go there and work out butt naked, man. All right, butt naked, and if you notice, that spirit is coming back, in this new age, man. And nothing is new under the sun. That spirit is reincarnating. You got the whole trend of going to the gym, spelling it JIM. You know what I'm saying? And more you see how men are just posing, taking pictures, showing off their legs, and this is like becoming a norm. This is completely off, man. All right, it's completely off. It's completely wicked. But it goes to show how our people are adopting the ways of the heathen. All right, because it's mainly Edomites that were doing this. All right, but now lo and behold, you're seeing Jakes, Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom partaking in this as well. You see the little feeds, you see the little clips that they put. They over here, raising up their little shorts and stuff like that's just completely off, man. But ain't nobody supposed to be looking at your nakedness. But this is just an example. All right, now I want to go off into a rant. It's just something that really, irks me and vexes me in this society, man. But anyways, continuing on, and it reads verse 15. All right, and made themselves uncircumcised. All right, and that's another thing too. All right, they would go and they would sew their foreskins back on their on their rods, man. They would sew their foreskins back on, and the reason they forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves unto the heathen and were sold to do mischief, meaning they were going into idolatry and whatever perverse heathenistic ways that the heathen would do. They would do it as well. So that's what ultimately went down. But this is brought out as an account, as an example. All right, as our people forsaking their nationality, forsaking their ways, and cleaving unto these heathens, man, cleaving unto the way of the Greeks, the Babylonians, whatever, and that's the thing too, whatever captivity we were under, you always had our people that would cleave and want to be a part of these heathens, man. They would always want to be a part of these heathens. That's why, you had the prophets back then. They were rebuking our kings, especially the Northern Kingdom, man. They were just going off and building up different idols and, just doing wickedness. You had King Solomon, he built up, many idols, pertaining to a Moabites, you know what I'm saying? Just going off, but that's, what would happen with our people, being backsliding. All right. So now here we are yet this day in our captivity. Okay. But guess what? We're coming back to our nationality. All right. The elect is waking up to who they are, as it is prophesied. Okay. So with that, we're going to go to the book of Baruch, chapter 2 and 30. All right. With that, we're just going to close out. Okay. So the book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 30, and it reads, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. All right, because it is a stiff-necked people, and that's the key point too. That's one of the main reasons why our people were just so blatantly going off in the past, and even until this day. Just blatantly going off, because they are a stiff-necked people. You try to tell them what's good, and they'll rebel and they'll come against you, and go far left 100%, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why now this thing only pertains unto the elect. Salvation is exclusive. All right, this knowledge is exclusive. All right, so you best not take this thing for granted. Just a small exhortation to the Akim out there. Especially new brothers coming in, man. Don't take this thing for granted, man. This thing is deadly serious. All right. Think about that, that little line that Kendrick Lamar said, which I'm not, putting any reverence on him, but he says something, as an offended, 2/3 that he is, offended, wicked Jake that he is. He said it's not fair because only 144,000 could go to heaven, which he's pushing, that heaven doctrine, but that in itself, lets you know how much weight, this truth holds, man. That in itself lets you know how blessed and gifted you are knowing this truth. All right, so don't take this thing for granted. Don't cast, you know what I'm saying? Don't trample the pearls underneath your feet, man, because otherwise you show yourself a swine. Anyways, it reads, but in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. Okay, so in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. All right, and that's going into this modern day. All right, here in Babylon, and not just here in Babylon, but guess what? All over the world. Okay, you got Latin America, brothers in Mexico waking up, brothers in South America waking up in their respective countries of their respective tribes, brothers waking up in the Caribbean, in the islands. You know what I'm saying? Brothers waking up in the UK, Italy, and these are the lands of our captivities, because ultimately everybody in this system that we're under is a slave under these elites, under these Rothschilds. Everybody's a slave, man. Everybody, including their own heathen. That's how cold these devils are. They put their own people in captivity, and ultimately they don't care about their own people, man. They about to, when all hell breaks loose, they gonna lock themselves up in a bunker and leave their own people to fend for themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just, how they are as the wicked, and you can't expect much from that. That's perfectly, expected from them, because they're the wicked. All right, but our people, being scattered all over the world, being under the curses and being in captivity, being at the bottom, everywhere we go, man, no matter where you are in the world, you're gonna find our people, and they're gonna be living in the hood, basically. They're gonna be under the curses, subject unto them. Thy eye shall be evil toward thy brother. It's gonna be violence there, right? Like you have Italy, for example. What do you have over there? You have the fucking mob. They be shooting each other up like like Chicago and stuff, man. But hey, now we're in the time where the elect is waking up, and we're coming back, Lord willing. We're of that number. We're coming back to our true nationality. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say, call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai Ba'ashim Rcha HaKudash for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. All right. With that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next.